Reflecting on my life, part 5. Um, if you looked at the other ones, my childhood was not great, but there was good moments here and there. But through my life, I've had some crazy stuff, funny, weird, um, just downright crazy. When I was a kid, I think I was 8 or 9, and there was a park across the street from our house. Well, not a park. It was a vacant lot. Sorry. And this is like, I don't know, 76, 77, something like that, way back then. And so it was a vacant lot, but they were getting ready to start to build, I think, some condos or something. And so they had these mounds of dirt. Maybe it was concrete. I don't remember exactly. I think it was just dirt. And they were all up like this, right? So my brother and I, Costa and I, and a couple of other kids in the neighborhood, we thought, well, let's go. We'll dig out the top and make it like a volcano, like it opens up. Yeah, we were kids. We were doing silly stuff. So we all went back and got some type of tools, shovels and pickaxe or whatever, a hoe. And so I had a pickaxe, and we're not in soft dirt, so we're just we're going easy. Nobody's hacking away. And then the kid, he was across, but like at an angle this way, and he had a shovel, and he slipped and went in further just as I was coming down with the pickaxe, and it hit him right on the top of the head. And we both kind of looked at each other like, "Whoa, did that just happen?" We didn't. I didn't say anything. He didn't say anything, and then he went, and the blood started coming down. I was like, "Oh my God!" We all freaked out. He ran home, and I was freaking out. We were just, "Oh my God! Oh my God!" And a few days later, he came to the door with his dad and told my dad what happened. And my dad beat the living crap out of me for doing that and then not telling him. That was one of the few times where I deserved an ass whooping, because it's bad enough to do it, but then to say nothing, that just makes it worse. So that was crazy. Another time at the same house, I think it was probably around the same time, maybe slightly earlier. But we were cutting some grass, some tall grass, and we were using the sickles. It's you got the handle and then the curved blade. If you look at the Soviet Union communist thing, it's got the hammer and the sickle. So we're using that to cut the tall grass. And my brother John had one, but it was kind of loose. And so he's the oldest one. He was 5 years older. So he hacked away, and the blade came loose and flew and wrapped around my sister's neck, and it took off. But because it was curved, it's just somehow, because it was spinning, just spun right around and didn't leave a mark. It just barely grazed her and didn't cut her. But oh my God, my brother was he was freaking out. He thought, oh my God, I just killed my sister. But when you going through life, those are, stuff happens. And it's things that just kind of makes you who you are, or just life experiences. And then there's a lot of stories like that. So, for example, like one time I was in my RV. This is maybe 2010, 11, and I was parked at the Walmart. I was going to park there for the night, and my back, where I was sitting in the living area of the RV, my back was facing the street. and it got really quiet. You know, I didn't hear traffic, didn't hear any noise, and then I saw flickering behind me. So I turn around, and I see this car, and the entire back half of the car is completely engulfed in flames, and it's just rolling down. It's not driving. No one's in there driving, putting the gas pedal to it. It's just rolling, and I don't hear a sound. That's what made it so weird. I didn't hear a sound, and I see it by itself. No other cars there, just rolling across, and it just rolled out of sight. And it was just, and then after it got out of sight, then suddenly I hear cars and people and whatever, and it was like, what the hell was? And it's so weird. You just see that at random, like, and the police came right away. Um, the guys were, I guess there was two guys in there. They were fine. They put it out, but it was crazy. Um, so, and then you have like a time at the when I was working at 24 Hour Fitness with my friend Fernando, and we were walking to a managers meeting in the back of the Huntington Beach location, and and it's earlier in the day, so the gym isn't too crowded. I think it was like 10 or 11, so the gyms aren't that crowded then. And this gym had one of those long rows of treadmills, like 30 in a row. And there was, out of all of them, there was just one woman, like right about in the middle. And so we needed to walk past that to go in the back for our meeting. And right as Fernando and I got behind her, I don't know what happened with her, but she lost her footing or something and then stopped. And she came flying right off the treadmill. And we both caught her in midair just before she hit the ground. And then lifted her back up and set her on her feet. And she was like, "Oh my God, I can't believe you guys caught me." That's one of those type of stories that, if you tell someone, they say, no, that didn't happen. Yeah, it's real, it happened. There's so many different stories. Here's another one. I think I was 19 or 20. Just came back from. Lived in Bakersfield for a couple of years. Go to school, help my dad run some apartments. He ended up losing the apartments, and I got. He got me an apartment for the last like 3 months I was there, and there's a couple quick ones from this. So I'm going to go and do this one first. So I was going to tell you something else, but I'm going to tell you this. So my dad, he was out of his mind sometimes. I'm in Bakersfield. He's in L.A. It's more than 2 hours drive to get there. I mean, I'm going to school. I'm on the track team. That's it. He's paid the rent, which was nothing, $300 then. Right? So one day he just shows up on a Saturday. And my friend and I are in there, and we're just watching TV, and he just comes in. And I look surprised, like, what are you doing here? Doesn't say anything. It's just like, And looks around, looks around everything. Like he's looking for something to be bad. Like I'm doing something, I'm throwing parties or I'm doing something. And he goes, everything okay? Yeah, everything's fine. And then he just leaves. And apparently drove straight back to L.A. What? What was he doing there? Trying to catch me do something? I mean, it's bizarre. It was truly bizarre with him sometimes. I just... Ooh, sorry. Sorry about that. Excuse me, sorry. Anyway, it's not my best day. So anyhow, so where was I? Yes. Um, and oh, in Bakersfield, um, we had some wild parties out there because, it's kind of out there, not exactly in the middle of nowhere, but it's not close to LA and it's not close to a major city. That was the major city, which at the time it's kind of like where I'm at now in Amarillo, Texas, where it was like 185,000 people. They're really spread out. You got farms and cattle ranches and things on the edges, and then in the main part of it, it's a regular city, but it's a smaller city. And um, so, and there's oil fields off in the next town over, Oildale, aptly named. And so people would do some weird stuff for parties compared to what you normally think of. So one day, I'm driving some friends out. We're supposed to go to this party, and we're driving through the oil fields in Oildale, and I'm like, dude, where the hell are we going? And it's pitch black. I got the high beams on. Then finally, we turn around this bend, and boom, there's this huge bonfire, and there's like 100 people out there. They got kegs flowing. It's a raging party. I was like, holy crap. That's what they would do out there, because and you know what, the police would know about it, stuff like that. But usually they would just let it go because they know that the young kids, they don't have a lot to do out there. And at that time, because it was smaller, now it's actually gotten very populated, and it's almost like 500,000 people. I was there in 86, 87, 88. Um, but back then it wasn't a lot to do, and most uh, stores closed at 8. Restaurants were closed by 9. It wasn't a lot to do. Bowling alleys and stuff. They were closed by 9. Cinemas were closed by 10. So it was kind of a sleepy town. So they would have parties like that. And then we belonged to Gold's Gym, my brother and I. And they had an association with Gold's, no, it was the club, they called it, the club. It was a racquetball club, and then they had a gym there. But on Tuesdays and Thursdays evenings, they would have volleyball. Volleyball was so fun. It was volleyball a racquetball court. And so what was great because you could hit it off the walls, you could hit it off the back wall. I think you could even hit it off the ceiling. So it made it fun. And the great thing was, even though we were only 18, 19, you're a member, so it's a private club. So rules, laws are different. And so they had a keg of beer. And so for $5 an hour, each person, we could rent the racquetball court, and we could come back and fill up. We'd play around, come back, get a beer, drink it, go play, come back, get a beer, drink it. We'd do that for a couple hours, have a blast, have a few brews. We weren't drunk, you'd have 4 or 5, just those solo cups, And when you're exercising and whatnot, not drunk, but feeling good. It was so much fun. And then that same gym, they had a party for a Halloween party, and they had it was a racing party, and again you had kids 18, 19 there, and it was full, beer flowing, liquor flowing, crazy, a raging party. A couple hundred people there by the pool outside, and they had a contest for, scariest contest, scariest costume, and whatnot. And my brother Costa won for scariest costume. He came as the Emperor from Star Wars. And so it was a blast. Funny thing about him winning that is what he got, his reward for winning was 6 months free membership at Gold's Gym. But shortly after he won that, he was leaving and going back to LA. And everyone over there, especially in Gold's Gym, for some reason they just couldn't tell us apart. They didn't remember who was Matthew, who was Costa. They didn't know us. So I just took his 6-month certificate a few months later when my membership was running out, and I just said, I'm Matthew, I'm Costa. They didn't even ask for ID. They just assumed that that it was. So I got 6 months free. It was great. Those are not like super great stories, but when you start reflecting, because I'm 55, not great health. Let's be honest, I'm not going to live that much longer. Maybe I'll get a couple, 3 years or whatever, but it ain't going to be that much longer. Probably less than that, probably a year or less. But anyway, so just little things like that. It just makes you reflect on that, and so it's not all bad. You had some good times, some crazy times, and some different things. So it's life is fun and crazy, and unpredictable. When I was in, let me go up to, where should I go in my mind now? Let's do high school. So high school, I don't know how it was for anybody else's high school, but we would have every year. We would go to our crosstown rival. I lived in Downey, so we had two main high schools, Downey High and Warren High. And so we would go once a year, and we would go do something bad to like their mascot. They were the Warren Bears. My junior year, the seniors went over there and they blew up the bear. They hooked up a bunch of M80s. They had the bear standing up like this, and so they put M80s on his ankles and blew up the ankles, and the bear came toppling down. Well, then to retaliate, they put sand sharks in our pool. So that was a bit of a shock when the water weenies come the next morning and try and go in there. Whoa, there's sharks in their pool. The poor sharks, I don't think they live too long, in a pool. So my senior year, what we did was we went there, snuck in on campus at night, and we painted a yellow streak down the Bears' back. We went to their football field, and we painted a giant D in red. Our color was red, and theirs were blue. So nothing like blowing up or sand sharks, but stuff like that makes it fun. Also, one day they have this thing where the cheerleaders, they go and in the early morning and they kidnap all the football players. Yeah, they just wake you up in the middle of the night. Your PJ's like, "Come on, you're coming with us," and then you just meet at someone's house and you just kick back, have breakfast, and it's just little fun stuff like that. So, if I think about more, I could go on for a long time, but I think that's enough for now. So, been a little while since I made a video, so just throwing that out there. So it's just, like I said, it's just you try and reflect on the good stuff, the fun stuff, more than anything else. So, thanks.